everybody, and welcome back to another very exciting, thrilling, emotional episode.
Wait, what are we talking about tonight?
We're going to be talking about a lot of things. Today has been a very interesting day. Very interesting
That is
day.
true. Yes.
But yes, this is the Imagineers Disney podcast, for those of you who did not know, maybe stumbled upon us. I am your host, Matt, and I am joined by my co-host, Susie.
Stop, I'm getting emotional already.
Well, like I said, there was lots of emotion today. Some good, some bad.
And by the way, if you'd been listening to us, we kind of gave y'all a little clue about some stuff that came out in the news recently. So, we kind of know what we're talking about.
Right?
Sometimes.
You can trust us.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with a little minor addition to Disney pricing. The price of parking went up a little bit at the parks. So there was actually a $3 increase for standard parking. So now it is $25 to park at the parks. Oversized vehicles now are $30. And preferred parking went up from $45 to $50. So just be aware of that when you are coming to the parks. And if you are a Disney pass holder and you would like preferred parking, remember you only pay the difference between the preferred price and the price of the standard parking, since standard parking comes with your Disney pass. Mm-hmm. I've taken advantage of that several times. It's very nice being able to walk up to your car that's closer in the parking lot when you are exiting the parks after a very long day. And then there was also another price increase. Speaking of pass holders, the annual pass pricing has changed ever so slightly. The Epcot After 4 pass went from $279 to $289. The Weekday Select Pass went from $289 to $319. The Silver Pass went from $439 to $479. The Gold Pass, which is where you start including the Photo Pass into your ticket price, went from $589 to $609. The Platinum Pass, where you get no blackout dates, $729 to $749. And then the Super Pass, the Platinum Pass, which gets you no blackout dates, you can go any day of the year, plus water parks and ESPN, went from $829 to $849. So all in all, I mean, it did go up a little bit, but when you're paying monthly, especially if you are a Florida resident, it's
not too much.
Yeah, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Moving on. Okay, now this was the big thing, and so all of the previous things were kind of little surprises that popped up today. Like, we weren't really expecting some of that to occur. I wasn't actually expecting the annual passes to be affected just yet. That's typically something you see earlier in the year.
True, but keep in mind they've got a lot coming next year, next summer. So maybe they're already getting people braced for that. Maybe they're already trying. I mean, whenever they do a ticket price change like this, they're trying to even out attendance throughout the year instead of having constant waves. 5 years ago, you could go on a weekday in like late February or, something like not even near a holiday, and you can like walk on to rides. Ever since they started these different ticket changes, it's evened out, balanced out to an extent, park busyness. So,
yeah, and I really,
but this other one I think is definitely this other change impacts that even more.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. The parks are just so crowded. It's almost miserable. Anytime you have a 4 or 5 hour wait, like you were experiencing with Flight of Passage or a Slinky Dog Dash, I mean, it's a problem. It turns your vacation into, I don't want to say a nightmare, but sometimes a very unpleasant experience. And it's not a big deal for me necessarily because I'm a pass holder. I go down all the time. But
but you feel for those families who come from states far away, or people coming from overseas or another country, and like this is your one Disney trip for,
you're blowing
years.
You're blowing one almost half a day on one ride.
Yeah.
So that's insane. So the parks are crowded, and and another maybe way to look at this increase. They did announce that minimum wage is going to be going up for Disney employees, cast members, the parks employees. That money has to come from somewhere. So
yeah, a lot of employees down there. But
the big change is the ticket structure. So this was announced about a month ago that it was going to happen on October 16th, and here we are, and we are now seeing
Doomsday.
Doomsday. No, it's really not that bad, and it does make sense. There are, one good thing to come out of it is now a single day ticket to the park is all one price. There isn't a tiered price for parks. So typically in the past you would see a surcharge for going to the Magic Kingdom. Now that is non-existent. All parks are the same price, and I think it's because they've kind of leveled out the entertainment.
Definitely.
So that price increase for Magic Kingdom came with the new Fantasyland expansion, and then you couldn't really justify paying anything extra for the other parks at the time. But now we have Frozen and Epcot. We're going to have the Guardians of the Galaxy attraction. You have Pandora and Animal Kingdom. You have Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge coming to Hollywood Studios. So there is going to be reason, and I'm not saying that there was never a reason to go to those parks, because I love all the parks.
There's a marquee draw.
Yes,
at all of the parks now. Now they have this is, an extremely new, unique experience to each park that brings in another element from something else, whether it's another movie or film series like Star Wars or different things. So it's adding a lot of value to those other parks, whereas they didn't have the hallmark pedestal that like Magic Kingdom had.
So what you would see when you were purchasing a single day ticket is there would be tiered pricing. There would be a value season, there would be a regular season, and then there's a peak season price that would affect your ticket price depending on what time of year you go. And what they have done, they have just applied that same principle to multi-day tickets. I think the biggest change in this is, if you were a Florida resident and say you bought a 4-day ticket, and on your first trip down, you wanted to split that 4 days into multiple visits, so you could go down for a couple of days and then come back within 6 months to finish off those 2 days. That basically is being eliminated. So when you book your vacation, you need to know when you are going to go. And once that has been decided and you start your first day of your vacation, you're going to have a shorter window of opportunity to use all of those ticket days.
You need to plan all of those days at some point within that period of time. I had a friend who had the, back when this was the other version, you had like 6 months, and it was like, oh, I'm coming up on it, I'm just gonna go. And it was during a totally different time of year, totally different level of busyness, and so you feel like you get more bang for your buck because you can wait it out. Not anymore. And you're right, it's during those different those seasons. So
this kind of blocks you out from buying like a 4-day ticket, a 4-day pass for like a value price, and then using a couple of those days, coming back a couple months later and using it during peak days. It keeps you from doing that. But like I said, you do have a shorter window to do it. You really do have to utilize all of those days within a select amount of days of your trip. So you can still be able to factor in, rest days or resort days in the middle of your trip. So if you're going for multiple days, I always recommend having kind of a break day to kind of recoup, so you're not completely overexerting yourself in the parks, which is easy to do, especially if it's hot outside and you're doing a lot of walking.
It's really busy and you're spending half of the day in line, which just goes back to the benefit of working with someone like you to get those fast passes, so they're not wasting a half of one of those 4 days that is so precious now, standing in line to ride Slinky Dog.
Yeah, and so you are going to need to have a little bit better idea of when you're wanting to go. And, that is, and Susie, thank you very much for
the you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
This segment brought to you by
Travel Nation. No, but that really is why I'm here. I'm here to make this process easier for you. I want to be able to customize your vacation to your needs and what your family wants to do. And if that means taking a break in the middle of your trip, taking a break day at the end of your trip, just any way that I can help organize that, I'm going to be able to do that for you. So that's all of the recent developments for today. That all happened today. So it's been very busy for sure. So we're going to get right into our topic for this week. And it is going to be what we consider to be the very best Disney tours that you can do while you are on Disney World property. So
all those people that you see when you go with the little headsets and someone with a little, in the cast member outfit walking around. Remember when I was younger,
plaid vest.
Yeah, like, who are these special people? You can be one of those special people. We'll tell you how.
So yeah, they are either taking a very private tour, which they do offer those. So there are several to choose from. I mean, there's the Caring for Giants, which is the elephant habitat tour in Animal Kingdom. There is Behind the Seeds in Epcot, which takes you back through Living with the Land, which gives you a very up close and personal view of how that operates. But we're going to give you our favorite one. So, Susie, I think I already know where you're going to go with this.
Yeah.
So, which is why I didn't choose it.
Yeah. My favorite tour is located in the Magic Kingdom, and it is called the Keys to the Kingdom tour. This probably is the most well-known tour, I would say.
I would agree.
Just if you're going to do a Disney tour, then this is the one that people talk about. Ooh, that's the one where you go underground. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So the Keys to the Kingdom tour is interesting because, yes, you do get to go what they call backstage, and see some really special parts of Disney that you can only see if you're a cast member. But the point of Keys to the Kingdom is to give you history about the park, history about Walt, the Florida Project, and how all of that came to be. Easter eggs that are hidden throughout the Magic Kingdom that Imagineers have placed that you could see but actually have no idea what they mean or what they represent. And then just a really special look at the training and the environment that Disney wants to create. They kind of tell you what those 4 keys to the kingdom are. So they aren't like 4 literal keys that you're like on a scavenger hunt to find. They're the 4 keys of a great guest experience at Disney World. And they are as follows in this order. Safety, number 1 concern among all cast members. You'll learn about that key, what cast members look for. The example they say, you won't see someone standing on a bench for about more than 2 seconds because a cast member is always looking for those safety issues and trying to keep guests safe as possible. Courtesy, show, which is the showmanship, of course, of Disney, and efficiency. how they run everything very efficiently, which goes into that underground aspect of the tour. So they also talk about like, there's very specific reasons that the Magic Kingdom is laid out the way it is, the hub, to the red concrete as you walk into Magic Kingdom to represent the red carpet, because you are the special VIP guest, kind of like when, like walk a red carpet. So a lot of really cool inside tips like that. I really enjoyed the Keys to the Kingdom tour. I can get into a few more details. Matt, have you done it?
Yes. And
okay.
One thing I will, and it is a phenomenal tour. One thing I will kind of caution people in choosing this tour: if you do not want things spoiled for you, if you want the mystique,
illusion,
the illusion, the magic to kind of remain intact, maybe do another tour. But if you like to see the inner workings of how things are done and just get really behind the thought process, like Susie said, of, down to the pavement, like
literally,
the meaning of what you're walking on, then this would be the tour for you. So
yeah, I'm very about the process, the logistics. I like learning how things work. I like disassembling, unassembling, taking things apart, putting it back together again. And that's kind of what this tour does. So things if you're interested that you need to keep in mind, and then I'll go just a little bit more. I don't want to spoil anything for you too much. I do want to set a few like expectations or misconceptions about the tour. It's located in Magic Kingdom. Like I said, you are going to need a park admission pass or pass holder to get into the park. I believe there's at least one there. I'm not sure if there's more tours that don't require park admission, but this one does. You have to be at least 16 years of age or older and have a valid photo ID. Just a lot of things going on with this tour that you're going to be going backstage for. I'm sure they have their other safety reasons, not that you're in danger by any means, but they don't want kids, I guess, running all around doing different things. Everyone's staying together on this tour. It's 5 hours long and lunch is provided. There's a lot of walking. It starts in the morning. You can have an 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9, or 9:30 tour. So either way, you're going to go to a little bit after lunch. But if you or anyone in your party has any physical barriers as to being able to walk and stand for the vast majority of that time, be sure to make provisions for that. If you need to rent or bring a wheelchair or a scooter, do that. There's a lot of walking. I can't stress that enough. When we did this, it was during the summer, and even at 8:30 in the morning, when you start, it's hot. So just keep that in mind. And the whole tour is about $99 a person. And I think it's well worth it. Not only do you get all those inside looks at the park, those Easter eggs, those hidden messages, like in the windows down Main Street. What do those things mean? What do they represent? What are the various nods to Walt and to Roy Disney that the Imagineers put in? But you also get a really cool pin with the Keys to the Kingdom key on it. You get a name badge, I guess, if you want to keep that with your name on it. If you ever forget what your name is, you can keep that. And you get lunch, which is there's a menu with different options you can choose from. So all in all, 5 hours, $100, all the things you get to see and learn about. I definitely think it is worth the price.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a wonderful tour. It is my second favorite tour.
Well, so like I said, I don't want to spoil too much, just a vague overview. You start down Main Street and you go down Main Street, learning those different things about the history of Walt Disney World, specifically the origins of the Florida Project, different pseudonym and fake names that Walt started buying property under, which is really interesting. The different names in the windows, construction on Main Street, how various things are set up. Fascinating. You move over to Adventureland. You learn a few more things about the Tiki Room. You may get to ride on a ride. I don't want to tell you which one it is. You'll have to see, because your cast member tour guide will point out some very special things on that ride to you before and afterwards. So I don't want to spoil anything there. So you do your research. Just wait and see, because you learn some really cool things. But you do go backstage. So showmanship, show is one of those 4 keys. On stage is anywhere a guest can see you. Off stage is where the cast members can kind of like, you don't have to be smiling and doing you're in character, whether you're an actual cast member or you actually are a character. There are certain lines on stage, off stage. So you get to go to those off stage places and see really special things. So I want to kind of bust the myth that you go underground in this tour. It's people refer to as like the underground tour. You do get to go through the utilidors, which is how cast members move so quickly from one side of the park to the other without you noticing. And not just cast members themselves, merchandise, laundry, trash, all sorts of different props or various items. You do go under the Magic Kingdom. You're not underground. So this is really interesting. The Magic Kingdom was where you go into Utilidor is ground level, and the Magic Kingdom was built on top of it. So you're under it, but you're not like underground. And that is a really cool thing. You cannot take photos.
Yes, that is an excellent point.
That's probably the biggest thing. Your tour guide will let you know when you are permitted and when you are not permitted. Like majority of the time, you're not permitted at all to take photos. Not just off stage, you're never permitted. They're just do what they say. Just listen to them. Follow the rules. It's not that hard.
Yeah, the utilidors are so cool. I mean, it's just an ingenious way of getting rid of a problem that they had when they opened up Disneyland. Walt was walking around and, seeing, characters from other lands, like walking in Tomorrowland.
Yeah. It keeps everyone in their right land and their right spoke of the wheel. Because if you look at Magic Kingdom from above, it's a wheel. There's the hub in the center and everything kind of branches off.
Speaking of Disneyland.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you this or not. I'm making my first trip.
Yay!
I'll be out in California next month on a business.
Not jealous at all.
And I'm gonna do a 1 day. I only have time for 1 day, so I'm gonna try to cram in
everything
as much as I can. But we'll be definitely talking about that when I get back, because
yeah, you'll have to give us that'll be great, because you have a Disney World Florida perspective of Disneyland, so we'll get to
where it all started.
Yeah, and that is an interesting part of the tour too, is talking about how Disneyland was started and the changes and the differences between the two parks. Not just physically, this one has this one doesn't. Why does Disneyland get different things, those overlays like we've talked about before, like at the Haunted Mansion and different things during holidays, and we don't. They seem to get more changes and Magic Kingdom doesn't. You learn all just really interesting inner workings, and your tour guide is an expert. Feel free to ask any questions you want, because they most likely know the answer.
Yep, highly trained staff will be doing your tours, so It's not the dime tour.
No. You definitely get a lot of information, see a lot of things. Again, totally, absolutely worth that price. If you love history, you love Disney, you want to see it for yourself instead of just reading about things in a book, it's going to be just the tour of a lifetime. So that's my favorite tour. I definitely think every Disney fan needs to go on it at least one time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is amazing. And, I got to say, the one that I'm about to talk about, I think it's pretty amazing too. So, in fact, I know you haven't done it, but I think just knowing you
so badly,
just knowing you, I'm like, okay, this is going to be right up our alley. So maybe one day we'll get that. So we'll have an Imagineers tour review of Wild Africa Trek in Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
So for all of you animal lovers out there, I mean, this is the tour for you. It's unbelievable. I mean, that's really the only word I can use to describe it. It's my favorite tour at Walt Disney World, very, very closely with Keys to the Kingdom. But this is just such a unique experience. when you are in Animal Kingdom and you are getting really a behind the scenes look at Kilimanjaro safaris and how they take care of the animals. You learn some interesting facts about the animals. So let's start a little bit at the beginning, what you can expect. So there are some restrictions just because of what takes place on this tour. So you will be escorted to a locker after you check in, and then that is where you can store most of your valuables that you cannot securely attach to the vest that you were given.
So they mean business.
Yes, they mean business because you are going to be doing some stuff on this tour that you don't want to risk dropping your valuables because you will never see them again.
Okay, cool.
If you do.
Good to know.
So you'll be given a vest, and so one of the reasons why I really, really love this tour, this is a tour not just for animal lovers, but if you are a shutterbug, if you love taking photos, especially of animals, this is perfect. It is, you get such a great opportunity in the middle of the tour to get closer, I think, to the animals. So when you're riding Kilimanjaro Safari, you're always constantly moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
On this tour, there are going to be times where you are stopped and you're allowed to stand up. And like I said, if you're a photographer, bring those long lenses so you can actually get some really tight shots of giraffes or lions or all the animals that you can find on the safari. So you will actually start the tour on the Pangani Trail, and you'll go past all the aviary and all that, and then you'll actually come to, at the end of the trail, the guides will be leading you into the woods, and this is where really the Wild Africa Trek really begins. So you start with the overlook of the hippo pool. So you'll learn some really interesting facts about the hippos. You'll actually even see in hippo feeding, they'll be throwing lots of lettuce to try to bring the hippos over, which is really cool. Now, the next part, which part of me doesn't want to spoil it, but I think you need to know why you're wearing a vest and a harness and stuff. So if you're on the safari and you're riding through the safari, and right over to the crocodile pit, you see this bridge, this like rope bridge. Well, that
is not just for decoration.
Not just for decoration. That is part of the Wild Africa Trek tour, and this is where you can actually walk across that bridge. You are harnessed in, so you are not going to fall to your death like all those people in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom at the end of the movie, where they fall into the river and their crocodiles,
right,
and stuff. So that's
quite intense.
That's not going to happen. But this is the reason why everything needs to be securely fastened to your person, because if you drop something off that bridge, it's going straight in the crocodile's mouths. So kind of like the clock in Peter Pan.
A lot of crocodile references tonight.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I think never mind. We exhausted the crocodile references, just two.
One of my favorite characters, by the way.
The crocodile?
Oh, yeah. I think it's hilarious. I loved that thing as a kid.
Cool. It's just obscure. I don't know. I thought if you said no to the crocodile, I was going to say the clock.
It's obscure, Miss Great Mouse Detective.
Okay. You got me there.
Touche.
I thought it was a good reference.
Hey, I love that movie too. So
we're even. Everyone's happy.
Same boat. Yep.
We're nerds. Whatever.
So you'll actually be able to have a really unique pose on that bridge, like overlooking the crocodile pit. So it's super fun, and it's one of the highlights of the tour. Then you go into the riding portion of the Savannah tour. So you'll say goodbye to your vest and harness and all that, and you will hop on the safari truck, and you basically follow the same track as
Mm-hmm.
as the normal safari, but you'll be stopping more. So, unlike Simba 1, the truck will stop, and this is where you can stand and take photos and stuff.
Very
So,
cool.
that's a fun opportunity. You'll learn more about the wildlife that you pass on the safari. So, you'll get great views of the giraffes, the elephants, um,
I love the elephants.
but you're going to learn so much more. So, because you have more time, you're going to learn more information from the cast members about the wildlife on the safari in the savannah.
That's great.
So, about 2/3 of the way through the traditional trail, right when you get near the flamingos, you are
Mm.
actually going to take a little stop, and this is where you're going to have your meal.
Is that the thing that's like that kind of
Yes, it
juts
is.
out and
Mhm.
gosh, I got to do this tour, you guys. You don't even know how badly I want to do this. And I'm going to be at Animal Kingdom this weekend, and it doesn't fit into our schedule. So, really, really killing me right now. Gosh, that's going to be so cool.
So, it's actually funny because you will be eating at a boma
Stop it.
on this tour. Not the boma, but a boma.
Yeah.
boma.
It's still like ironic.
It's just an outdoor area for meals and parties.
I know, but like that's where I'm going for my birthday dinner,
I know.
and it fits. Okay, got to get to this tour. Pencil
But
it.
so your menu is going to change a little bit. The meal is specially prepared by the kitchen at Tusker House, and it's going to vary depending on what time of day you're doing the tour. So there's going to be a different menu for the breakfast. There's going to be a different menu for the lunch afternoon tours.
For not just for food purposes, but for animal viewing purposes, do you have a best time that this tour is going to be optimal to go during?
Well, I actually did the lunch one, the afternoon one when I did it. So I have not actually done the breakfast one. That's a good question because the lions really come out towards dusk. So
Yeah.
we had a fair amount of animals that we saw. I mean,
Okay.
when I took the tour in the afternoon, I mean, there wasn't. I never thought that I was like, oh, I don't see a lot of animals. There was plenty out there.
You didn't feel like you missed out because
Right.
it may have been a warmer time. Okay, that's
And,
good. That's
you know,
really good to know.
They have binoculars and stuff that
You're
you can.
going to see things. You're going to have that really unique experience. I guess because you also have more freedom because you're not, there's not another symbol 40 feet behind you or whatever.
You're getting extra time. You're not really rushed. I mean, you're on a schedule, but if there is an animal that you really want to see and it's in your path or along your path, you're going to be able to stop and get a good look at it and learn some new information.
Perfect.
Going back to the menu here. So the breakfast is going to be brie, various fruits, yogurt with granola, and then the lunch items are going to be like smoked meats. There's salmon roulade and shrimp. And what's really cool is that these dishes are only found on this tour.
Wow.
You cannot get them anywhere
Wow.
else at Walt Disney World. It is specifically catered and customized to this tour. So I
That's
thought that was
sweet.
really cool.
That makes the turkey sandwich I had on Keys to the Kingdom look like just a turkey sandwich. I'm impressed. I hope everyone else is like, oh my gosh, you got to do this tour. I'm like hyped up. I knew about it, but you're like feeding my obsession with needing to do the tour.
So yeah, you just right after that though, you just hop back onto the truck and you basically finish out the tour. You drive past the rest of the animal exhibits, the super realistic ostrich eggs, of course. And,
I was in high school before I realized that they were fake. I remember thinking, I was like, dude, like
Those have never moved.
these ostriches have eggs every year. Why
That's
aren't there
amazing.
like 30 ostriches here? Okay, that's okay. I figured it out on my own eventually.
Hope we didn't shatter anyone's like reality.
Yeah. While we're at it, Santa's not real, but I think we covered that a few weeks ago.
Well, back to reality.
Yes.
Let's talk about pricing. So
that's a hard bit of reality.
So, fair warning, this is definitely one of the most expensive tours at Disney World. And it will vary depending on the day you go during the year. So, the majority of the year, I believe the treks cost in the vicinity of $200 per person. But in peak season, it actually can jump up towards $265. So peak times are going to be Christmas, New Year's Eve, Easter, spring break. So just if you are planning on doing this tour, maybe take that into consideration and plan around some days that will save you the most amount of money. A couple little quick tips. Bathrooms. There are no restroom facilities for the first 2 hours of the tour. So nice. Just be aware of that. The cast members should inform you about that. So be sure to take care of your business before you start on the tour. I always recommend people bringing at least their smartphone or camera. So you're going to want pictures of this, even if it's just with your smartphone. You're going to have some unique looks of areas that typically people do not get to see in Animal Kingdom on Kilimanjaro Safari. So
wow,
that's my tour. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, two really unique looks at two very different parks. I gotta do that tour, guys.
And you are going to need park admission for the Wild Africa Trek as well, just like Keys to the Kingdom. Well, hopefully we have whet your appetite for maybe some additional options that you can do. So you are not just limited to doing rides and attractions at the park. Yes, there are even tours where you can get a little backstage look at the inner workings of how Disney executes everything on a daily basis, whether that be taking care of animals, taking care of plants and stuff over in Epcot, or laundry.
Taking out the trash.
Taking out the trash, doing laundry.
It's fascinating. I don't know what to tell you.
It's super fun.
Just think about this the next time you go to a park, about all the things that you don't see, you know, not just in reference to the Keys to the Kingdom tour, but there's so many different things all across the property, and you get a special look at those with the various tours. So find something you're interested in, see if there's a tour available, and do it. Also, just want to mention there are seasonal tours specific to various things going on around Disney World, different festivals at places like Epcot. So just be on the lookout, and because you have a smaller window for when those are offered.
Yep, they're all really great experiences, and if you are interested in doing those, you can always trust your trusty travel agent here for helping you set those up. I'd be more than happy to get those attached to your Disney vacation plans. They are an excellent addition for either maybe a special birthday present or an anniversary present for a Disney lover in your family. This adds a nice little extra flair to your Disney experience. So if you're looking at booking a Walt Disney World vacation, email me. My email is matt@travelmation.net. Shoot me an email of the dates you would like to go. I know earlier we talked about the ticket changes and packages for Walt Disney World. I know that can be a little confusing, but that's why I'm here to help you. So just shoot me an email with any questions that you may have about planning a Walt Disney World vacation, and I will get back to you ASAP. So thank you everyone for joining us for another wonderful episode. If you have not subscribed, we are on iTunes, we are on Google Play, and we are on Stitcher. So go and find us, subscribe to the podcast, so that way you can have automatic updates of when we upload our episodes. Then, of course, we post the link on our Facebook page. You can find us, Imagineers Disney Podcast, on social media, on Facebook, and we are on Twitter, Imagine_ears. So we'll post the links both there on Facebook and Twitter for your convenience. So until next time, everybody, we look forward to hearing from you again soon. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.